In order to get to this point of closing the gap on both this fiscal year and the next fiscal year, we are forced to raid the rainy day fund, the retiree health benefits trust reserve, and to increase property taxes across these other years.
I keep telling you guys that Zohran Mamdani is no dummy. I know Zorro likes to portray himself as this happy-go-lucky doofus, but Zorro is one smart doofus. He has come up with a brilliant plan to solve the budget crisis in New York City. You know, where the city is projected to be billions of dollars in the hole, mainly because they continue to waste billions of dollars by donating that money to people who refuse to get a job. While devising this brilliant strategy, Zorro has also come up with a way to make New York City more affordable. Most normal people, if they're looking at a multi-billion-dollar budget deficit, they're going to do things like eliminate spending. They're going to eliminate welfare programs. They're going to quit giving illegal immigrants, undocumented future voters, however the hell you want to mislabel them. If you're facing a multi-billion-dollar budget deficit, you're going to quit giving away free money to people who produce nothing that you can monetize. Last I checked, toxic ass gas wasn't a monetizable commodity. But Zorro's plan to save New York City, Zorro's plan to make this up-and-coming dump more affordable, it does not include the elimination of communist welfare programs. No, no, no! Instead of eliminating spending, Zohran Mamdani has decided to increase the city's income by raising taxes on overachievers. He wants to raise taxes on businesses. He wants to raise property taxes. Remember how I told you guys months ago that people with options, people with money, they were going to get the hell out of New York City if Zohran Mamdani was elected? You guys remember that? Remember how the mainstream media tried to convince us that no one was going to leave this future Islamic paradise? Headline at the New York Post: New York is losing jobs to Texas as Zorro's tax push is making the mass exodus worse. According to the New York Post, New York City has already lost thousands of jobs, which is strange. How is Zorro going to make the city more affordable if high achievers don't have a place to work? Before Zorro's reign of terror began, corporations were already fleeing this flaming ass fire. Over the last decade, 23 corporations have moved their corporate headquarters from New York City to Texas. JP Morgan Chase, they now have more employees in Texas than New York City. To make matters worse, later on this year, Texas is launching their own stock exchange to compete with NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange. Once that happens, combined with the communist policies of Zohran Mamdani, it might not be long before New York City is out of business. But it's not just the budget crisis. It's not the pending jobs crisis that has Zohran Mamdani struggling. It's not just the piles of trash and garbage on the sidewalk or the smell of burning grass on the corner of Cheech and Chong that has residents of New York City complaining. As it turns out, Zohran Mamdani is facing a much more severe crisis. As you're about to see, in less than 2 months, Zorro has turned New York City into San Francisco. He's turned the city of dreams into the city of rainbows. Not only are New Yorkers rudely awakened every morning by the pleasant sounds of the Islamic call to prayer, much like their friends in San Francisco, before leaving for work every morning, New Yorkers now have to check their traffic app to find which street has the least amount of freshly baked turds. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Let's go and get to the sponsor for today's video, my good friends at Sinusol. Winter is here, spring right around the corner. If you're anything like me, this is the time of year where your allergies are the most active. Normally, I would take daily medications like Claritin to help with my allergies, but this year, I have been using Sinusol Breathe Easy nasal spray. Sinusol Breathe Easy is a low-cost nasal spray that provides relief from chronic issues and symptoms caused by allergies and infections. Now, you're probably wondering, how is this any better than what I buy at CVS or Walgreens? Most of the nasal sprays at CVS or Walgreens, they include steroids, which you do not need. Sinusol Breathe Easy is steroid-free and medication-free. They use a holistic approach, which includes a unique combination of plant-based ingredients and essential oils. If you struggle with congestion, post-nasal drip, coughing, sneezing, or if you're like me, and you're constantly dealing with sinus headaches, Sinusol Breathe Easy is the nasal spray that you need. So click the link in the description or the pinned comment below. Use my promo code BTL25, BTL25. Receive 25% off your first purchase with Sinusol. A couple of weeks ago, New York City was hit with a massive blizzard. I'm sure you guys have noticed that believers in global warming have been strangely silent recently. Kinda hard to convince people that the Earth is on the verge of becoming a microwave when the entire country is blanketed in snow. But during the storm, New York City received several inches, maybe even a foot or two of snow, which, no big deal, right? City maintenance workers come in, they clear the snow, and everything is back to normal in 24, 36 hours. Right? It took the city weeks to clear the snow off the streets. And once the snow was cleared, it became abundantly clear why Zohran Mamdani waited to have city streets cleared. As it turns out, the piles of snow, they were kind of being used as a disguise. Zorro was using the snow to cover up the fact that New York City was buried in human doodle. Watch for yourself.
Bro, this sidewalk is filled with shit. Like, this is ridiculous. I ain't never seen no shit like that.
Good morning, NYC. It's me, Zohran Mamdani. I'm here to present your 5-day forecast. It'll be 32 degrees today with fresh thunder poop for your afternoon commute. Tomorrow, it'll be partly poopy in Manhattan with a high of 35. But if you're living in Queens, I've got some great news for you. We have developing doodle over in Flushing. It's making its way towards Jamaica. I'm being told freshly baked turds will be available on the sidewalk by dinner time. I'm sure some of you thought I was kidding a week or two ago when I said New York was dealing with a crisis of devastating doodle. I'm sure some of you guys thought Uncle Casey was being facetious. Unfortunately, I was dead serious. Can you imagine? Can you imagine waking up in the morning to the Islamic call to prayer? You're in your storage closet that you're paying $8,000 a month for. You wave to the mop as you're leaving. You grab your coat as you're walking outside. As soon as you get outside, you realize you have forgotten your most important fashion accessory, your mask. And you're not wearing a mask to protect yourself from the COVID. You're wearing a mask to protect yourself from the stench of poopery on the damn sidewalk. No wonder thousands of people are getting the hell out of New York City. No wonder Corporate America is moving their headquarters. Now, you're probably wondering, how can this be happening in the wealthiest city in the world? Why don't they have the money to provide toilets? I'm no expert in city finances, but I think I know one of the reasons why New York doesn't have the money to provide adequate poopers. Since 2023, New York City has spent $10 billion on immigrants, not Americans, not native New Yorkers, not people moving from Boodle Flute, Nebraska to New York City, struggling to survive as they chase their dreams of becoming a pooper scooper. In the last 3 years, New York City has spent $10 billion on migrants. And if Zohran Mamdani has his way, he is going to increase migrant spending by another $1.2 billion every year. The question is why? New York City is already crowded, and it's not like Los Angeles where there's plenty of room to grow. New York City is essentially an island. There's a reason it's called Staten Island, Long Island. You don't need to be an expert in geography to realize that islands have a finite amount of land. If you've ever been to New York City, you already know they're pretty much out of space. That's why there are so many skyscrapers. The only place they have to build is up. So why would a city that is already overcrowded, why would a city that is already facing a multi-billion-dollar budget deficit be inviting more immigrants into the city? Now, in Zorro's defense, this was happening before he became mayor, but the migrant crisis is about to be significantly worse. Why? Like I told you guys the other day, and this is pure speculation on my part, I think New York City is a trial run for Islamists. I think New York City is going to be the headquarters for Islam in America. Hell, to be honest with you, it might already be the Islamic headquarters in America. You know how Zohran Mamdani won the election? He wasn't elected by native New Yorkers. He wasn't elected by Americans that were born in America. Zorro was elected by immigrants. What's an easy way to get reelected? Flood the city with more immigrants. More specifically, flood the city with Islamic immigrants. Unfortunately, I think New York City might already be lost. I don't know if it can be recovered. And look. You can't blame it all on Zohran Mamdani. The destruction of New York City was happening years before he even got elected. This is the direct result of years, maybe even decades, of Democratic leadership. Rudy Giuliani revitalized New York City. And here we are 25 years later, and New York City is unrecognizable. And after Zorro's reign of terror, the Statue of Liberty, she won't be holding a torch. Lady Liberty will be holding a Quran. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow.